A very good Monday morning. Thanks for clicking on to the European February Outlook edition of Vogan's European Outlook for today. Hope you're having a good day so far. And thanks for clicking on if you're on YouTube as well. Do check out the website markvoganweather.com for the written version of the February Outlook. But certainly we have now bypassed the midsection of winter, and for folks certainly here across the UK, but particularly so across Scotland, in fact, it has been a fairly disappointing winter if you like cold and snow. The blocking area of high pressure that we were hoping to see, like 2011-12, was too close to the UK. So um, we've seen a southwesterly airflow in recent days, and even for the past week or so up here across Scotland. Southwest winds brings moisture and indeed mild temperatures. But down across southern England, it has been somewhat cooler. And of course, if you extend down into France and Spain, it has been rather cold to say the least. Plenty of snowfall, even snowfall down to the costas of Spain. And of course, we've seen plenty of winter across the continent, all the way across to Turkey, up into Russia, and back across into central parts of Europe. But we have seen a predominantly positive North Atlantic oscillation, positive Arctic oscillation as well. And of course, the hopes of a great winter was shattered after a fairly cold November. We, of course, seen the return of a more pronounced polar vortex that regrouped, that re-strengthened over the pole, and we did, of course, start to see a change in the 500 millibar upper pattern. As we go through the remainder of January, it looks as if we're going to maintain this high pressure pattern. It has been a dry winter, both December and January thus far has been pretty dry here across the UK despite being mild. Typically in recent years, when it's been mild, it has been wet and it has also been rather stormy. This time around, it has been dry. It has been relatively mild as well. Like I say, further north you go, the milder it's been compared to normal. We've seen some fairly cold nights in recent times across the southern part of the UK, and the reason why is that cold continental air that's been sitting over France has kind of built into the southern half of the UK, allowing somewhat winter to kind of show itself across southern parts of the UK, but up here across Scotland's been quite different. So where are we at now as we go into the month of February? Well, I tend to feel there's going to be a maintaining of this kind of drier theme, but I do also think there is shifts going on. We've got the polar vortex now. There's signs of a strat warming taking place as I speak. And the question is, does it favour the UK? Now, if you do check out the written version of this forecast, I'm going to show you the charts for the 10 millibar and the 50 millibar level, and you can see the warming that takes place from Asia across the pole into North America and also down over Greenland, and that is going to be key as to the response from the stratosphere into the troposphere in terms of warming the atmosphere at 500 millibars. Where exactly does that block take place? For many, many years now, we've seen this taking place and it's not favoured the UK. But on the off chance it happens to do so, sometimes it just sits right and we see a cold end to the month of January and February. And I do think that we still have that window of opportunity before we enter the springtime that we could see something a little bit more wintry here across the UK. Much of Europe has seen plenty of cold, with the exceptions of the northern UK and extending into Scandinavia. It started off cold, but then it started to warm up, and then, of course, the southern part of Europe shivered. We've seen heavy snowfall in response to that. But I do think there is a possibility that we could start to see a block and high develop that would be more accustomed to colder weather here across Western Europe. So let's have a look. This is the CFSV2 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies for the upcoming 5 days. Firm positive North Atlantic oscillation, as you can see here. We've got the Scandinavian block and high positioned in the right way that is allowing somewhat colder air to filter into the southern part of the UK here. So we've got plenty of cold air over the continent. Exactly where the position of that high is allowing somewhat colder air from the continent to enter the southern half of the UK. Stormy and cold down across Iberia, but up here across the northern UK, you can see here trough extending from the pole all the way down into the central North Atlantic. We're picking up a southwesterly feed of air off the central mid-Atlantic, and therefore we're seeing milder conditions. As we go into the 8 to 14 day, that trough actually strengthens here. We maintain the ridge over Scandinavia, but it's now starting to kind of shift slightly further east, which would indicate a little bit more unsettled weather across the majority of the UK rather than it being just across the northwest. But we're paying attention here to this high it's building from the North Pacific into Alaska, and you can see here that we're starting to see the building of heights back into the Arctic region once again. And you can see here we've still got the trough underneath over the North Atlantic. We've got the region over the continent here, which would still signify a positive North Atlantic oscillation. But as you notice here, we're starting to see some changes taking place because we're starting to see the positive now build from Scandinavia up into Greenland here. The trough underneath is going to then start to shift towards the UK here. And by the time we go to the day 29 to 35, which is the 19th of February through the 26th of February, we have got somewhat of a less negative over the North Atlantic, shifted over to the UK with a positive over Greenland, which would potentially suggest a colder pattern. You can see that here by the time we get out to the week 6 here, which is the 36 through 42. You can see here the positive over Greenland, and also a large area of, albeit subtle, positive here, but it's still showing a positive anomaly here over Greenland and over the Arctic region here, which would indicate a colder mid-latitude region and potentially a colder UK and Western Europe as well. So that's the idea is at the moment. At the moment, I think we're maintaining what we've already seen. May turn a little bit more unsettled for the UK, and then we will hopefully, as we push through February, see some form of response to that strat warming here across our part of the world. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and do check out the written version of this forecast. Bye for now.